Hey, my name's Echo. I have autism and schizoaffective disorder, and I've spent a long time wondering how much of myself should I share with the world. When you live with a mental health disorder, there's a reflex to hide. You hide the appointments, you hide the side effects, and you definitely hide the symptoms. But I've realized I don't have the luxury of silence anymore. I'm devoted to being fully open, not for my own sake, but for my daughter's. The reality of our family tree is complicated. Between my own diagnosis and my wife's mental health history, my girls stand a very real statistical chance of inheriting a disorder. And as a father, that thought is terrifying. Not because of the disorder itself, I know that battle, but because the world they're walking into is so intolerant of the mentally ill. We're often seen as a punchline, a threat, or a lost cause, and I'm tired of that stigma. People hear the word schizoaffective or schizophrenia and they immediately picture the worst case scenario that they've seen in the movies. They think of that person on the street corner lost in their own world yelling at their own shadow. And yes, without help, it can look like that. But there's another path that people rarely talk about. There's a path where that same person holds a professional career. There's a path where they are a loving parent, a reliable friend, and a contributing member of society. The difference between those two paths isn't willpower, it isn't character. The difference is early intervention and consistent treatment. When we treat mental health like any other physical disability, with medicine, with therapy, and with a support system, the shadows lose their power, and I'm living proof of that. But to get my daughters on that second path, if they need it, I have to make sure they aren't too ashamed to ask for direction. I'll be honest, getting to where I am today wasn't easy. Finding the right medication can be a long and tedious process. But now that I'm medicated, it's like the fog is lifted. It doesn't make me a different person. It makes me the person I was always supposed to be. It allows me to be present with my girls. I want to explain how treatment affects me because people need to see the boring side of stability. They need to see that medication isn't a zombie pill, it's just a tool. By being open about my meds, the side effects, and the triumphs, I'm creating a roadmap for my girls. If the day comes where they feel their mind slipping or the world starting to fracture, I want them to look at me and think, Dad went through this, he took the medicine, and he's okay. I can be okay too. I don't want my girls to live in a world where they have to be afraid of themselves. I don't want them to have to calculate how much of their truth they can share before someone decides that they're broken. So I'm here making a choice. I'm going to be a radical example. I'm going to talk about the hard days, the hallucinations, the doctor's visits, and the victories. I'm going to fight the stigma with every breath that I have. I'm challenging the prejudices so that my daughters don't have to. They might inherit my biology, but they don't have to inherit my shame.